In July 2025, our solar system has a visitor. No, this is not an ordinary comet or asteroid. This is 3I Atlas, the third interstellar visitor ever recorded by humanity. But this visitor is unlike anything we have ever seen. It is the size of an island, traveling at a speed of over 217,000 kilometers per hour. And as it approaches the sun, it begins to perform. It accelerates abnormally, deviates from its orbit, and emits a strange blue light, defying every known law of physics about comets. Professor Avi Loeb, Harvard University, has made a shocking accusation that NASA is deliberately concealing crucial evidence about the interstellar object 3I Atlas. So, is 3I Atlas a rare natural wonder or the first shocking evidence of another civilization? We will analyze the data in depth in this video. On July 1st, 2025, the NASA-funded Atlas telescope system detected this object. Immediate orbital analyses confirmed its interstellar origin. It came from outside the solar system, and it is enormous. Initial estimates indicate that 3I Atlas has a diameter of up to 20 kilometers. For comparison, Oumuamua was only a few hundred meters long, and Comet Borisov had a chord just a few kilometers across. Professor Avi Loeb pointed out that the probability of a natural rocky object this large, half the size of the asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs, wandering and being detected by us is extremely low, only about 0.0001. A major mystery from the start. With that size, it should have been an extremely bright comet with a huge tail. But for many months, it had almost no tail. But the real performance, the moment that shattered every rule, only began when 3I Atlas plunged into the furnace of its perihelion, closed its approach to the sun in late October 2025. According to data from NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, analyzed by Professor Avi Loeb of Harvard University, citing orbital calculations by JPL engineer Davide Farnocchia, the interstellar object 3I Atlas appears to be accelerating in a way that cannot be explained by gravity alone. This suggests the presence of a non-gravitational force, though its exact origin remains uncertain. Imagine a typical comet. When heated, it releases ice, creating chaotic, random jets. That is nature's rocket effect. Powerful, but directionless, like a broken engine. But 3I Atlas doesn't behave like an inert rock. Its acceleration isn't just stronger than expected, it's frighteningly precise. The latest data reveal an almost perfectly controlled thrust. It consists of two components. The first is a radial vector, pushing it directly away from the sun with an acceleration of 135 kilometers per day squared, meaning that each day its speed increases by another 135 kilometers per day. The second is a tangential vector, nudging it off its natural orbit with an acceleration of 60 kilometers per day squared, or an additional 60 kilometers per day of speed gained in that direction every single day. In other words, this object seems to be driven by an incredibly stable and precise force, as if under deliberate control, rather than simply drifting through space under gravity alone. A flat, stable acceleration, clearly separated into two specific directions like this, is almost impossible to explain by random gas jets. This is not the chaotic hiss of nature. This is the signature of an intentional system, a thrust being directed. Professor Avi Loeb has helped reignite academic interest in the possibility of extraterrestrial life through his study of objects that appear to challenge conventional physical laws.
Unusual trajectory of this object offers the possibility that it might have been designed so as to have some goals of a reconnaissance mission.
In a recent interview, he stated that NASA has not yet provided him with high-resolution, HiRISE images of 3I Atlas when the object flew closest to Mars. This camera is mounted on the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter of the U.S. Space Agency. However, the professor believes there is still an opportunity, as this interstellar object is expected to make its closest approach to Earth before Christmas. In his latest article on Medium, Professor Avi Loeb commented, "On December 19, 2025, 3I Atlas will reach its closest point to Earth at a distance of approximately 269 million kilometers. At that time, hundreds of ground-based telescopes, along with Hubble and James Webb, will have the opportunity to observe the object most clearly." He added, "From November 27, 2025 to January 27, 2026, 3I Atlas will be monitored under the campaign of the International Asteroid Warning Network, IA-1. If the large volume of data from IA-1 does not show the existence of a significant gas cloud surrounding 3I Atlas, then comet-like sublimation will be difficult to reasonably explain its non-gravitational acceleration." The theoretical physicist also proposed another method to determine whether this object is of natural origin or could be created by extraterrestrial intelligence. He wrote, "If we do not observe a large gas cloud around 3I Atlas in December, then the reported non-gravitational acceleration near perihelion could be considered as a technological signature related to a propulsion system. So what if the object does not produce a large gas plume?" Commenting further on skeptics, Professor Avi Loeb stated, "Scientific truth is not determined by majority vote, but by observation and analysis of data, especially when that data is anomalous." Amid the growing interest surrounding 3I Atlas, U.S. Republican Congresswoman Ana Paulina Luna, 36 years old, the first Mexican-American female congresswoman, has publicly requested that NASA provide unreleased images of this interstellar object. The data she referenced includes images captured by various NASA instruments, including the HiRISE camera on the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter. This action comes after Harvard astrophysicist Professor Avi Loeb, 63 years old, stated that he had contacted NASA to request access to similar data, but had not yet received a response. In her social media post, Congresswoman Luna tagged NASA Acting Administrator Sean Duffy, who had previously responded to posts by Kim Kardashian related to 3I Atlas. In addition to the HiRISE images, the Congresswoman also requested that NASA share all relevant data from other instruments, including the Parker Solar Probe or operating observatories under NASA's management, as well as the Hubble and James Webb telescopes. So what does NASA say? Officially, NASA states that 3I Atlas poses no danger to Earth. Even at its closest point, it will remain hundreds of millions of kilometers away. Instead of debating, NASA and the international community are taking action. The International Asteroid Warning Network has just launched a global monitoring campaign. Here is the latest data. The campaign will run from November 27, 2025, when the object reappears after passing the Sun, to January 27, 2026. The goal is to use every ground-based telescope to track its orbit precisely. They are even inviting amateur astronomers to participate. Registration deadline is November 7th. And it's not just NASA. The European Space Agency ESA confirms that their Mars orbiters, MRO and ExoMars, observed 3I Atlas on October 3rd. The entire global scientific community is turning every lens toward 3I Atlas. Most comets, when heated by the sun, are just dusty, cold rocks reflecting red light. But 3i Atlas is different. It does not merely reflect, it seems to glow. As it approached perihelion, it flared with the brilliant blue light, a ghostly, almost artificial color that does not belong to ordinary icy drifters in the solar system. The strangeness continues with its tail, or rather the absence of one. At first, it was just a barren giant rock, but then it sprouted something even stranger, an anti-tail. Instead of being blown away by the solar wind, reports indicate a mysterious stream of dust particles heading straight toward the sun, defying every familiar law of physics. However, to be fair, other scientists have offered a natural explanation for this paradox. 3i Atlas may contain a large amount of CO2. When CO2 on the sun-facing side sublimates, it pushes large, heavy water ice particles outward, and these particles move slowly, lagging behind the orbit, creating the illusion of a tail pointing toward the sun. But even that explanation fails to account for the final chemical signature, which may be the strangest anomaly of all. We are facing two possibilities, both of which would reshape our understanding. The first possibility is that 3i Atlas is a natural interstellar comet, but of a type we have never seen. An object born from another star system with chemical composition such as rich in CO2 and nickel and strange physical structure challenging all our astronomical models. The second hypothesis is that Professor Avi Loeb is correct. We are witnessing a technological artifact, a powered probe using planetary flybys, Jupiter, Mars, Venus, to gather data and now activating its engine to adjust its course. Currently, the scientific community remains deeply divided. Whatever the answer, 3i Atlas is forcing us to ask questions. And perhaps that is its purpose. Data from the IAWAN campaign and hopefully the withheld HiRISE images will be the key. What do you think? Are we observing a messenger from the cosmos or an astronomical wonder? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for the deepest scientific analyses.